super excited to be here with you today. This is my very first YouTube houseplant video, and the premise of my channel is to provide basic tips and tricks to people who are just beginning on their houseplant journey. And if you're not just beginning, well, welcome back, and we'll provide hopefully some more information for you, and hopefully you can provide some information with us. So today we're going to be talking about propagations, and I'm super excited. I'm here in my apartment, and I'm excited to show you my plants and the ones that I have chosen to propagate. So with that, we'll just get right into it. Thank you so much. All right, so I'm going to come over here to my little dining area, which I absolutely love. I love the plants that I've put up in these shelves and the hanging plants in macrame. Just add a light touch to it. Looks really cozy to me. We want to focus on my Monstera, so I'm going to come over here. You can see she's quite large. She's got some nice fenestrated leaves. Actually has a new leaf right here that just unfurled last week, and it's this nice lime green color. All right, so we want to try to find something we can propagate. So I'm going to go down towards the bottom of the plant, and we're going to look for a node. You can see that there's several area roots. Had I got them earlier, I may have been able to propagate them, but now you just want to leave them. They actually help stabilize the plant, and they're like this out in the wild. So just leave them, and you'll have a healthy plant. I want to find a node here, so I'm going to look back here. Just aerial roots. There's a node right there, but that's a little high and that's a big branch, so I'm going to skip that one. Looking back here, I see a couple right here, but they're hard to get to. And below that, I see one here that is connected to two smaller stems. You can see it right here. So it's a smaller non-fenestrated leaf, so maybe a good one to cut. And I want to check the other side too. Up here, go behind, and again it's attached to a smaller non-fenestrated leaf. So I think that would be good to propagate. And down here you want to look at the node, and then where you want to cut it is in between the node and another node or an aerial root. And so I'll give it a cut right there, and when I do that, we'll move on to the next. All right, so now we're in my bedroom, and we're in the corner I like to call my propagation station. Most of my propagations are in here, and this is the top of my dresser that's just gone kind of OOC, out of control. But I've got some plants on it too. I really love it, it's beautiful. What I wanted to do is focus on my Monstera Adansonii. And this is so tall that I actually need a step ladder to get to the top. So there we go. I'm a little afraid of heights, but that's not too bad. The top is some vines that are obviously still outgrowing the plant. So I have no problem taking the cutting from it. It's gonna reach the ceiling soon, and I don't really want it to do that. So I'll keep taking cuttings to keep it under control. So what I'm looking for now is a node, just like the pothos, just like the Monstera deliciosa. You can see there's a node right at the top. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get up there with my scissors, and I'm gonna take a cutting, and then we'll move on to the next. All right, so moving into another portion of my bedroom, I've got 3 hanging plants I want to take a look at and see if I can get cuttings from. So I'll start with this one. It's a Pearls and Jade pothos. And you can see it's definitely not lacking in length. It's definitely trailing really long, so it'll be easy to get a cutting from. And I'm just going to zoom in here and show you that. You can see there's nodes all along here. So I'll cut behind the 1, 2, 3, 4, fourth one in between the 4th and 5th. And that'll be a nice little cutting. Next we have a spider plant. And these are so easy to propagate because all you do is stick their babies in water or soil or whatever your medium is, and they grow like crazy. So what I want to do here is look for a baby. Look for a stem here. And you can see it's got a couple babies attached to it, some smaller ones, but here's a large one at the bottom. And what you want to do is just snip the stem off, and that's your baby. All right, so now we have a Philodendron Brazil. Beautiful plant. Don't have to describe it much. It's obviously gorgeous. And it's got some vines on it, so you want to look for nodes again, same deal as the others. So here, I'm going to take a look. You can see there's nodes, and I'm just going to cut between these two nodes here in the center of the picture. So that'll be a nice little cutting. All right, so there's that side of the room. Next we have 3 other hanging baskets in my bedroom. They're all on macrame. And let's go take a look at the first. Here on the right is a marble queen pothos. It's got some really beautiful leaves that are like half dark green, half marbled. So beautiful. And it's actually put out a couple of vines, but the longest one is probably a good 4 feet long, and it's all reverted jade. It's just beautiful that a marble queen could put out these dark colors. But I guess that's it reverting. It does have another vine here that is marbled, and I'll take cuttings from both the jade and the marble. Again, we want to take a look for nodes and basically cut back where it'll give us a nice little length between those nodes. And same with the larger vine. All right, next is my Synapsis Pictus argyrius. This one is also called a satin pothos, but it is not a pothos. It's just what people call it. I call it a Synapsis Pictus argyrius. So yeah, I wanted to take a look at this one. It's got some nice vines here. It grows really quickly. I have taken cuttings from this, and I'll take one this time again. So same deal, look for a node. See that node right there by my finger? I'm gonna cut right here, and it'll give us a nice little vine. All right, last but not least is my neon pothos. I love this plant, and I was like super excited when I got it. I said, I got a neon pothos, now my collection is complete. Kind of dreaming there, right? So my collection is never complete, but this one's beautiful. I haven't propagated it yet, so I want to find nodes on it too. There's this funny loop here. I'm going to cut in between the nodes in the loop and let me give me a nice cutting. A friend of mine wants this cutting. He loves this plant, and so he's a very dear friend, so I'm going to go ahead and give it to him. I'm excited to do that. So all right, those are the plants that I want to propagate, and we'll move on to how to do it. All right guys, welcome back. I got all my cuttings taken. I'm really excited. I've taken quite a few. You can just see this is one plant, the marble queen. Some others, I'll go through each one individually. After I take the cutting, what I do is take the end of each one, and I put a little cinnamon on it. So I actually have one that's dedicated to plants, so I'm not worried about, you know, contaminating my stuff or whatever. But I dip it into the cinnamon, and that'll help the plant callus over, and that's really important when you're putting them into water. Okay, so I'll put this back with that. Next thing is, yes, I am choosing to propagate in water today. Water is my preferred method. I like to be able to see the roots growing. It's kind of funny, you know, like peek in, what's going on? Yeah, I just love it, and it looks cool. I can have it as kind of like a piece of my interior decor. It looks cool. I like to use old glass bottles, and definitely Pepsi and Coke bottles. Coke bottles remind me of my childhood. My dad was he worked for Coca-Cola, and so we had a lot of Coca-Cola stuff in our house, lots of decor, so it's kind of like bringing it forward now. What else? Oh yeah, I only use distilled or filtered waters with propagation. Other things, I use tap water, but for these this purpose, I use distilled or filtered water, whatever I have on hand. It's just important that the plants aren't bombarded with chemicals, and so it's just what I've continued doing. Let's see, let's go on to the cuttings now. First, I have a Monstera deliciosa cutting, really nice, just a really nice one. And I actually have a Monstera propagating right now in water, and this has been in here for a few weeks. It's got some really nice roots that I'll show you. I also have a jade pothos I'll explain in a moment. I'm gonna set this down. This one, this is cool. It's got a leaf popping up. That's awesome. This one has a nice set of roots, and the rule of thumb with planting, sorry it's loud next to my window. Rule of thumb with roots and when is it ready to transfer to soil? When the root's about a finger length and it has roots upon roots. The roots are growing roots, basically. That's what I was told, and that's what I've done. I have a successful Monstera planting that I did. And let me show you on my tour of my apartment. All right, next I have this. I'm just gonna go ahead and stick it right into the water and make it kind of look like a Monstera bouquet. I love it. So some of these are fenestrated. The one I had in here was fenestrated. The newest one isn't. That's okay. As it matures, it'll grow more fenestration. So I did have this jade pothos in there, and the reason I have it in there is because pothos actually create a natural growth hormone, and it just accelerates the growth of the other plants. It's in the water, so I love to have it in there. Just go stick it back. Okay, smaller, so I got to really get it in there. There we go. Okay, next we had our Monstera adansonii. It's a smaller cutting, smaller leaves, but it's a nice little cutting. And I'm just gonna go ahead and get right into this Pepsi bottle. There we go. Now the Monstera will take a little bit more time to propagate, to develop roots specifically, but it will. I've had one before this, and it did really well. I gave it away to my cousin, and it just took a couple of weeks to get some nice little roots. And with any of these, really, it's important to have patience. Like just because you don't have roots right away doesn't mean that you're doing anything wrong or that there's something wrong with the plant. Just have patience, and it'll happen. All right, next we had our Pearls and Jade pothos. This one has very obvious nodes on it. You can see that. So those are all nodes. All right, so I've got 3 different little cuttings here. Now I gotta choose which one I want to use. I'm gonna use this old kombucha bottle. Just shove it down. There we go. Another question that I've gotten is, when do I change the water? How often do I change the water? The answer to that is you don't change the water. The way that I was told that has worked successfully for me is just to top off the water when it starts to get low, which will happen as they absorb the water. And the only time you want to replace the water is if it's looking really, really murky and gross. That's when you know it's time to change the water. But otherwise, just keep it going. It will create all these mineral or nutrients and stuff by itself. So keep it that way. That was what I was told. Hope that made sense. All right, so then we had our spider plant, and this is really cool because it's got some roots growing on it. So if you get a spider plant, and you're ready to take a cut, make sure before you cut it, it has a node or some roots growing. It'll go really fast. So I've got this, and then I'm gonna stick it in another Coke bottle.
there you go. It looks kind of cool. It's like a little troll or something. I don't know where to put it. Okay, next we had our philodendron Brazil, and we've got some nice little cuttings going on. I think I want to stick it in. I don't know. Let's see here. I'll just choose this one. That's cool. Got a few. There's this nice one. This one's got some funny curving on the vine, so it looks a little different when you're propagating, but it still works. I'm getting this one in here. And last but not least, here we go. Okay. Following that, we have our Marble Queen / Reverted Jade cuttings that I took. So I'll start with the jade. That's what I cut first. Just a nice deep dark green. Love it. Absolutely love it. And I'm just gonna go ahead and stick this in here. This looks like a wine glass that I got from the Dollar Tree. I believe it was in the kitchen stuff. So yeah, $1 for a vase. It's a little, you know, what do they call it? I don't know, wine glass. And so I got these two, and then I did say I was gonna take a cutting from the marbled section of it. And so I did that. I got some pretty stuff. And here's the marbled part. And I'm gonna put it in this kombucha bottle. More marbled, but this is a little bit darker, which is really pretty. It's got a hole in the leaf, which is funny. I don't know what kind of thing ate it. It's been in there since I purchased the plant, so I'm sure some little pest was on it. Let's see here. More of the dark green. Now, I like the wide neck on there. Definitely recommend getting the wider necks on the bottle. Or like the vase that I had my Monstera in. So Dollar Tree is great for that stuff. Okay, then we have our Syndapsis pictosordiris, and I've got 3 cuttings from that. This one has a leaf. This one has a leaf as well. And this one, I'm going to use this other Coke bottle. And one more. Okay, so there's that. Starting to get out of view of the camera. The stuff's in the way. Last, but definitely not least, are my neon cuttings. This is such a beautiful plant. Like I said, it meant a lot to me when I got it. A friend saw a picture of me with it on Facebook and then asked if he could have a cutting. So I actually took 2 cuttings, and I'm going to surprise him with them. These are really beautiful plants. And with these, I'm just going to stick them in with a jade, so they'll have a cool little contrasting color. So you can see the contrasting colors. That'll look really cool until I give it to him when it's got some roots. So that's it, everyone. Thank you so much for being here with me today. This is my first video. I hope it wasn't too bad. I've been trying to work this all out in my head, how it's going to play out. So, but I've had a blast. This is so cool, being able to show people the things that I have in my apartment and how I care for my plants. So, all right, with that, I'll say adieu. Bye.